Good evening, and welcome to Hooking the Big Fish: How to Get Started in Government Contracting. This is an introductory webinar presented by Kappa Theta Epsilon Sorority Incorporated in honor of National Entrepreneurship Week, and I'm excited to host this on behalf of our beloved sorority. My name is Amana Torre, and I am a member of the Brilliant Beta chapter of Kappa Theta Epsilon, located in Atlanta, Georgia, under the auspices of the splendid South Atlantic province. Tonight, I hope to share some information with you that will inspire and motivate you to look into growing and expanding your business through a very interesting opportunity, and that is selling your goods and services to the government, whether that be federal, state, local, municipality. There are a variety of opportunities across the country that you might find interest in and that your business might be able to service. So I think over the course of the next few minutes together, that you may learn some things that help you expand your business and support your team, your family, and grow your firm and organization to new heights through doing business with the government. So let's start and dive right in. So, the topics that we'll be covering this evening are: what is government contracting by the numbers, what's your dream for your business and the future of your business, and how your business can get started working with the government at whatever level you feel comfortable and feel like would be viable for you at this point and stage in your business. So, if you're not really familiar with it, what is government contracting? Well, very simply, government contracting is the process by which businesses and firms provide goods and services to government entities. So that can be a specific department, that can be the government as a whole, may need some good or service that will be later distributed into different departments. And we can get into that a little bit later. But each government organization has a budget, and those budgets vary, but there are government entities that need goods and services at every level. So that could be your local municipality, that could be your state government, that could be the federal government, and tons of departments and teams and committees underneath each one of those particular um, levels of government that need business owners, people like you, and firms like yours to assist them in uh, forwarding their mission as an organization. And every department has its own mission, but a business like yours can help them to move toward accomplishment of their mission and goals. So, why the big fish? I affectionately call government contracting going after the big fish because governmental organizations purchase large amounts of goods and services, oftentimes in bulk, or large products, anything from Humvees to solar panels, tons of equipment and material each year. And that a lot of these materials and goods must be purchased and serviced perpetually, meaning that it becomes a consistent source of revenue for a select group of businesses that have the courage to go out there and hunt down the business at the government level. And the US government, the federal government, is the largest consumer in the world. So imagine having the world's largest customer as a client or customer of your business, whether that be t-shirt making or catering or logistics where you're moving materials back and forth for the government. There are a myriad opportunities at every level that businesses can involve themselves in and take advantage of when they open up their mindset and thinking when it comes to the opportunities out there and what they can go after when it comes to business. The federal government, in particular, is where my firm does a lot of its work, but even local municipalities or Commonwealth governments, state governments also have budgets that they have to fulfill each year, and they are big fish compared to a lot of your uh, business to consumer transactions that your business may be doing, or even business to business transactions. Oftentimes, the business that you can do with a governmental organization is larger, high ticket or higher ticket, and it may involve a larger outcome when it comes to profitability for your company each year. So that is, of course, one reason to consider getting into government contracting. So this is your opportunity to reach out to the world's largest customer, the largest consumer in the world, and a consumer that consistently, perpetually needs your good or service. And you get involved with working with that particular entity in a relationship that will not only benefit your company or your firm, but also benefit your customer, the government, in fulfilling its needs and operating in a way that moves towards its mission. So here's why your company, your business, should be considering pursuing government contracts. And it doesn't matter what size of business you are, doesn't matter it mostly doesn't matter how long your company has been in business. The important thing is whether or not your company can provide the good or service that the government is looking for at a particular time or that a specific department is looking for. And if you have the chops to fulfill the requirement, then you should absolutely, positively be going after government contracts. And here are some of the reasons why. Opportunity. As we get further into our talk this evening, I'll be sharing with you that there are more contracting opportunities out there than there are vendors. So oftentimes, even government contracts that are designed to be set aside or earmarked for a specific community to fulfill those contracts either go unfulfilled or they have to be assigned to much larger firms and much larger businesses because there are not a lot of people in this space, the government contracting space. And now that may seem surprising since the government is the world's largest consumer. But oftentimes, people run into concerns about whether or not they can fulfill the requirements to become registered as a government contractor. They worry about their ability to fulfill orders when it comes to working with the government. Um, they worry about the level of paperwork involved and the money involved in moving to that next level and taking on the government as a client. And all of those things are valid concerns. But the power is in knowing that you are capable of doing it. If you are a business owner, if you have put yourself out there and you had the courage to go after creating a for profit entity to take care of yourself and your family and to fulfill the needs and desires of the public and bring value to the marketplace, you absolutely have the tools and skills necessary to work with the government as a customer. They're just like any other customer. They want their needs to be met in a timely manner and they want to be serviced at a high level of professionalism and service. So just because they are a larger entity that you're serving, whether that's the Department of Defense or the State Department or whomever you go into business development looking to work with, even though they are a larger entity, they have a lot of the same needs as an individual customer, an individual consumer, or a small business consumer that you might work with. It's just a question of scale. So there's plenty of opportunity out there. There are always contracts available. There are tons of opportunities. There are opportunities on the public market, and there are hidden opportunities in the contracting space that never get announced to the public, but and they aren't competitive because of the fact that there are not enough vendors to fulfill them. So now is the best time to throw your hat into the ring and get involved in government contracting and start your journey to becoming a contractor. Consistency is another great reason why you should be pursuing government contracts. I mentioned a few times during the course of the webinar so far that the government is constantly in need of goods and services. Um, and some of the things that you may not even think about that the government contracts out happen every single day. For example, trash bags. There are government contracts for trash bags. There are government contracts for catering on bases. There are government contracts for toiletries and um, semi trucks to move materials from one base to another or from one location to another on behalf of the government. And often those things are perennial contracts, things that the government will need year in and year out, in and quarter out, and they need providers who can provide them with the materials they need in order to meet their mission. Your company can set itself up to be a consistent provider for the government in a way that will uh, lead to you being a long-term contractor with the government. And that means that becomes a long-term revenue stream for your business, which leads into another reason why your business should be considering government contracting is for the sake of viability. Because the government needs so many things perpetually, because of the fact that um, there are not a lot of providers and the government consistently needs materials, goods, and services. This is a great way for you to ensure a set amount of income once you have a great relationship with the entities you're working with. You are consistently communicating with them, and you become a go to vendor for these particular departments. This is a great way for you to ensure your business in perpetuity for years down the line, as long as you are performing at a high level and you remain competitive. Government contracting can be a wonderful source for continued revenue coming into your business and keeping your business a viable concern. In addition to that, one of the things that's really important to think about is that there are uh, rules and laws in place that require the government to pay you in a prompt manner. Now, I'm not saying that everything always goes to plan and that you'll always be paid on time, but if the government, particularly the federal government, executes a contract with you and you deliver, there are laws in place that require them to make it a point to pay you in a timely manner. And if you aren't paid on time, then they have to pay you interest in addition to the total of your invoice. But that's getting off into the weeds. All of that to say, the government is a reliable customer, a consistent customer, and there is tons of opportunity within the government in a variety of departments and areas of focus that your particular business can focus in on and specialize in when it comes to service, and that could really take your business to the next level and make you a long time profitable company, just off working with government entities and government agencies. So let's talk about the numbers in government contracting. And one of those things that a lot of people may not realize about government contracting if they've never considered going into the field. So, as you can see here, uh, there are only a little over 5,000 government contractors in the US. And you'll realize why that's surprising here in a moment, because we're going to talk about the kind of numbers that are involved in government contracting spending each year. But despite the fact that the government spends billions of dollars a year, and this is just the federal government that we're talking about, spends billions of dollars each year. in purchasing goods and services, there are only about 5,300 businesses or companies that are servicing the government directly. Of that, most of the people who are in government contracting are in their mid to late 40s. So, upstart companies, younger entrepreneurs, people who are looking to get into a field, tend not to focus on government contracting. People don't tend to start focusing on government contracting until they start to reach an age where they are burgeoning into the mainstay of their career. So, if you are in your 20s or early 30s and considering uh, pursuing government contracting as a career or an industry where you want to focus, you are ahead of the game. You could work from now, say you're 32 years old, you could work from now and put your business in a position in the next 5 to 7 years to be profitable and consistently growing over the next 20 to 30 years by putting in a few years as a contractor and building those relationships. Um, Most government contractors, as most people would guess, are male. The numbers for female contractors have been increasing. We're at just about 44% right now. And I think something else that you'll find interesting is the race of most government contractors. And this is something that's going to come up a little bit later as well. But most government contractors are of European descent. About 77% of them are white. And another almost 15% are Hispanic or Latino. So if you look at the middle chart here, government contracting by race, African American or African descended people uh, tend to stay right at about 3.5% of all government contractors. And that number has been decreasing over the last few years, actually. So there is space and opportunity for those of us who are of African descent or a part of the diaspora to get involved in government contracting and build businesses that are effective and growing firms. And there are tools out there to help us, like government set asides that are specifically for quote unquote disadvantaged businesses or um, having the designation that your business is a minority owned business or predominantly minority owned business are ways for you to get your foot in the door in a sector where oftentimes people think that there is no opportunity or space for us to be involved because they haven't necessarily been aware of the fact that there was access for us there. So, as Black women, which of course is the primary audience for Kappa Theta Epsilon, there is an ocean of opportunity out there for you if you are interested in pursuing government contracting as a portion of your business, or if you want to focus on having the government be your primary customer. So let's dig a little bit deeper into the numbers. So the forecast for government spending, as is usually the case, is that it is on the rise. It is on the way up. In the last several years, it has continued to tick up year after year. The budget has gotten larger and larger, and the needs of the government have continued to increase. Of course, the expectation is that that will continue to be the case over the next several fiscal years. And as you can see here, spending on government contracts alone in the fiscal year 2020 was $665 billion. That's a huge astronomical number. And remember, there are only about 5,300 companies, 5,300 businesses, firms out there that are pursuing a portion of this $665 billion. Now, a large portion of this, more than half, is actually spent on defense spending. And if your company is involved in defense or in support of defense contractors. If you do logistics, things of that nature, great. That part of the pie is for you. But think about the other just about 35, 38% of this $665 billion that is not defense spending, that is civilian focused, uh, that your company could become a part of and get a piece of if you are willing to put yourself out there and pursue the business. And as I mentioned before, only about 3.5% of all US government contractors are Black. So, something to think about if you are a small business owner, a woman small business owner, a Black lesbian small business owner who is looking for an edge in the marketplace and a space where your company can carve out its niche and really become involved in growing your business and growing your concern, government contracting just might be for you. So the question is, what is your dream for your business? Why did you start your company? Like, what's the mission? What were you hoping to do as far as bringing value to the marketplace and to the world? And, maybe you had a goal initially to just bring in an extra couple of $100 a month or, um, be able to pay for a specific expense for your home and family. So you started a side hustle. There's nothing wrong with that. That side hustle may expand into a full-fledged business that is able to service the entire community in a variety of ways. So that could be B2C, business to consumer, business to business, or business to government, as I like to call it, B2G. So, why did you start your business? If you're clear on that and you understand the mission of your business, can contracting help you to fulfill your business's mission and move you forward towards profitability and growth in a way that you hadn't thought about before? Because there is a ton of opportunity out there, and it is a very viable sector of business to be involved in. Now, if you've been wondering about this and you're saying, this sounds great. I think I could be a contractor, or I think I'm interested in contracting, but I have no idea what my business has to offer to the government. Like, oh my gosh, we make t-shirts, or oh my gosh, we do lawn service, or I'm an interior designer. Believe it or not, all of those are government contracting opportunities because the government needs t-shirts. The government needs um, lawn care. They need interior design and furnishing and purchasing, and they need realtors to go out and scout locations for them. The government, anything, almost anything that you can think of that you would sell to the general public, the government needs. So here's just a little bit of a look at some of the things that the government buys on a regular basis. Um, Starting with goods, computer equipment, trash bags, salt. There are companies that have gotten rich, made millions of dollars on selling salt, specific types of salt, directly to the government. Solar panels, foodstuffs, hotel rooms, office furniture, art, bottled water, t-shirts, like we mentioned, having a realtor go out on site and scout locations for activities and events, event locales, logistics, moving materials around. Like, there are a million different ways. Food is a huge, huge area for government purchase. So what can your business offer to the government that would be of value? And where are you building your business and focusing your business right now that could lead to a successful entree into government contracting for you? So those are just goods. What about services? The contracts that are out there for education and training alone, consulting alone, are huge. There are tons of contracts that go out every year for training on everything from new technologies that are coming out, or to technologies that have been around for a while. I recently saw a training for Microsoft Teams, that the Department of Defense was looking for. Um, Consulting services, graphic design, another huge one, web design, website maintenance, uh, project management, construction. Construction is huge at the local level, the state level, and the federal level. There are tons of contractors that, their bread and butter is government contracting and construction, facility management, public speaking, catering serve. The list of opportunities is absolutely endless. And there are plenty of ways that your business can get involved in contracting and build a business that you can be proud of and that is of value to you, your team, and your family. So, we talked about a ton of things. We talked about what government contracting is. Um, by the numbers, where the gaps are in government contracting, where the opportunity is, and why your particular firm should be looking into government contracting as an opportunity to grow. So, let's talk about how to get started. And this may seem like a lot to do, but once you get the ball rolling and you're moving in that direction, it moves very quickly. And then the question is just you doing the work, the legwork to introduce yourself, get involved, and become a contractor that is on the radar for the government at whatever level you are comfortable. So, to get started, you want to organize your business. So, you want to make sure that your business is contract ready. And that means that you have a fully operational business, your documentation is in order, you are registered with the state at whatever level you are comfortable, whether it's a C corporation, an S corporation, LLC, all of those things are in place. You have systems and documents in place as far as how the government can contact you, um, who your point of contact is within your business for contracts specifically. All of that is material and information that you'll need in place prior to starting the process of registering as a vendor. Now, once you have all those things in place, you'll want to register as a vendor with the federal government if that's where you would like to focus. If you like to focus at the state level, you'll want to register with your specific state or the states in which you'd like to work. And if you want to focus on the local level, you'll want to look into registering on your local municipality or Commonwealth's website to become a contractor with them directly. After that, once you're registered at whatever level you want to work, you want to search for contracting opportunities. So there are tons of RFPs that go out every year for contracts, or there are, informational requests from the government to say, "Hey, we're thinking about maybe purchasing this particular product or service. We want to see what vendors are out there. We wanna know who is in the space so we can see whether or not we'd be able to fulfill this need by working with a contractor." So RFPs are out there, um, informational requests from the government are out there, so that they can decide whether or not they wanna move forward with a contract. Um, there are industry days for you to introduce yourself to the particular, department or municipality with which you'd like to work. Um, and let them know, "Hey, my company is out here. We are a government contractor. We'd like to get on your radar and get some time in with you to learn more about how we can best service you and help you advance your mission." So make it a point to do your research and look for opportunities in the marketplace, in the government contracting marketplace specifically, that your business can fulfill. After that, you will create a wonderful proposal for the opportunities that you find and keep bidding until you win. When you're in the early days of contracting, some people get lucky and they get their first or second contract. For some companies, some firms, it takes a few months, sometimes a year or so to get that first nibble, especially if you're early on in the development of your business. You don't have a lot of past performance, meaning that you've worked with the government before, you've worked with um, businesses or entities that can serve as a reference for you. And the government can reach out to them to learn more about your company and your performance. If you don't have a lot of those things, that doesn't exclude you from being able to be a contractor or a vendor. It may just take you a little bit more time to get your momentum going. But you can absolutely still do this. So you want to look for laser focused opportunities that are ideal for your business, that you are 100% confident that your business can perform, and you want to bid on those consistently. And once you started to bid on them consistently, don't give up until you win, because you will win. It's really a question of being consistent, being involved, being connected, and you can absolutely build a viable business off contracting. And yes, it can be competitive to start, but there is a ton of opportunity there. So just because you don't get one opportunity, delay is not denial. Keep bidding, keep going until you win. So let's talk a little bit about the workflow when you're first starting out. Like I mentioned, you want to organize your business, and you want to register your company with the state. There are some people that try to go after, particularly federal government contracting, as sole proprietorships. I would not advise that, because are many, many, many rules and hoops and additional levels of verification that you'll need to do on an individual level if you want to present yourself as an individual. And it's always good to have your business in order for sake of liability and all of those things, and to be organized into a business entity. So speak with a professional who can help you to decide which type of entity is best for your business as you expand into contracting as another revenue stream. You want to have your organizing documents in order. You want to have your EIN. You will need a DUNS number for now, in order to register on sam.gov. That is changing as the government modernizes their systems. But if you want to be a federal contractor at this point, you still need a Dun and Bradstreet number or a DUNS number, and that's a very simple process. You can sign up online and get one in the course of 1 or 2 days. But you definitely want to start the process so that you are preparing yourself to become a contractor effectively. Next, once you have all of your organizational documentation in place and you're ready to be involved, then you want to register your business at whatever level you want to pursue contracting. So, like I mentioned, if you are wanting to pursue federal contracts, that'll be sam.gov. Um, Local municipalities all have their own process. State governments have their own process. So you'll want to look into the state and local requirements for registration at um, each of those levels in the areas where you want to focus when it comes to building your business and your relationships with contract officers. In addition to that, you'll want to register for set asides for which your business is eligible. And when I say set asides, I mean areas of opportunity that are specific to like the owners of the business. So, for example, one is injured service veterans or disabled veterans have their own particular set asides where a set number of contracts or a set number of dollars are spent by governmental agencies with service injured veterans over the course of each year. Another is quote unquote disadvantaged business owners, um, and also women owned businesses is another set aside area or another designation that you might be eligible for. And it's probably one of the ones that you're eligible for if you're listening to this webinar. So you'll want to uh, start the process of being confirmed for those particular designations, whether it's woman-owned business or a service veteran business, a disadvantaged business owner business. Um, all of those things are important because it gives you access rather to opportunities that larger concerns, um, male-owned concerns sometimes, those sorts of things, businesses that have reached a certain level of revenue, may not have access to and may not be able to bid on. So you want to give yourself as many opportunities to be considered as possible. So if any of those apply to you, you'll want to make sure that your business is um, is registered and is confirmed to be eligible to bid on those particular projects. After that, you want to search, like I mentioned, your local municipality or sam.gov if you are looking into working with the federal government. You want to look for contracting opportunities. Um, sam.gov is great for the federal government, like I mentioned, but there are often other open bid sites as well that may give you opportunities to look, like Fed Biz Ops and things of that nature, or not Fed Biz Ops, but Fed Bid, things of those natures, so that you can look at opportunities to bid on contracts that are open to the public to bid on right now. In addition to that, you want to start to put your capability statement, which is another document that you'll want to have together from your organizing phase. But your capability statement, which is kind of like a business resume or an advertisement to the government, in the GovCon space, you want to have your capability statement together so that you can share that with potential clients and contract officers in different departments so that they know that your business exists and that your business is ready and willing to help them advance their mission by providing your good or service. After that, you want to complete your first proposal and start bidding. And you want to bid consistently so that you keep building your business. And like I said before, don't forget, it's a numbers game. If you don't get your first one, keep going. You don't get your second one, keep going. But keep putting your business out there. And if you have a great product or service, eventually you will be the awardee, that you will be the contractor of record. You will be the business that the government is doing business with. But if you show up with excellence and you're exceptional, eventually your business will be selected. So you've got to just keep putting yourself out there and be committed to the process. And once you have won your first bid, celebrate. It is time to celebrate. You are officially a government contracting business. You are officially a vendor. And now it's time to execute with excellence and keep bidding so that your business continues to grow in this particular realm of business that is government contracting. So, some of the frequently asked questions about contracting that you may or may not have. Bear with me for one moment here. Alrighty, so like I mentioned before, some frequently asked questions that you may be thinking about, or maybe in the back of your mind, you're not quite sure about asking, but they're out there. The first question is, I'm a solopreneur, meaning that you run your business on your own. You wear all the hats. You are doing all the business on your own. Can I be a contractor? Absolutely, yes. So there is no limit to the size of the business as far as the business being small. When you get into multi-million dollar contracts and things of that nature, then yes, there is a limit on the size of the business. But if you are a one woman or one man shop, at this point, you can still be a contractor. All you have to do is be on top of your game and be willing to execute. Employees are not required. How can my business be set up to get approved? Well, it depends on your business's needs, not only with setting up shop for government contracting, but your overall business needs as far as what type of entity your business should be looking into when it comes to selecting the style of business or the entity type that you use. So, LLCs are for a very specific purpose. C corporations serve another very specific purpose. All of those things are things that I would encourage you to contact a competent attorney or tax professional for additional advice with. And can I get help with getting started? Yes, you absolutely can. My business helps people to get started with setting up entities and registering entities, but also making sure that their organizing paperwork is in order. But before you hire a professional, I would definitely encourage you to do some more in depth research into the process of becoming a government contractor and start that process on your own so that you are aware of the steps necessary. So when you work with a professional, you are getting the most effective and efficient support possible. So you can get help, but before you get help, you need to do the research so that you are an informed consumer of that help. And where can I learn more? Sam.gov is a wonderful place to start. They have all sorts of links and resources out there for you. Uh, Introductions to government contracting that can give you a little bit more clarity, and links to other government focused websites that are specifically for vendors looking for opportunities to work with the government. So I would definitely encourage you to start there. And then there are tons of YouTube videos, and now there are books and courses. But before you get off into courses and purchasing all sorts of materials, start with sam.gov and start seriously considering whether or not government contracting is for you. My thought is that if you are in business, absolutely government contracting is for you. And it is an opportunity for you to build your business sometimes to levels that you may not have even considered or thought of so far. So I hope that you will take it upon yourself to seize the opportunity and move forward into government contracting and becoming a vendor. And we will hopefully see you out there at an industry day or a government contracting conference. So, all of that said, on behalf of Kappa Theta Epsilon Sorority Incorporated, I would like to thank you for joining us for this particular webinar and for supporting us during National Entrepreneurship Week. If you're not familiar with National Entrepreneurship Week, it is a week of events and activities that encourage people to get involved with and promote entrepreneurship, and it happens every single year. Kappa has been a national partner of National Entrepreneurship Week for about 4 years now. I think this makes the 4th year, and it's a partnership of which we are very proud. If you'd like more information about Kappa Theta Epsilon, you can visit us at kappathetaepsilon.com. And if you'd like more information about National Entrepreneurship Week, then you can visit their National Entrepreneurship website as well. So, thanks again for being a part of this particular webinar. We hope you found great value with it. And we wish you luck on your journey to becoming a government contractor. Thank you. Good night.